Oh, bonjour, it's me, JH. In this project, I tackle not having an end screen and channel art by creating my own, and in this speed draw, you will be able to see what my motif really is, because it is kind of hard to see. And as you can now tell, I've been drawing chickens this entire time. What is it with the chickens? Well, let me tell you. Ah ha 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 ha. So I started using this motif in my last year of high school when my teacher asked us to create a two-page spread of something that was sort of replicated until almost insanity. And I decided to draw these chickens. Of course, they were kind of different at the time because I actually cared about being a good artist and making motifs that work to some degree. But of course, since then, these chickens have taken on another meaning altogether, and I think I like this version better. In this video, I didn't really know what to talk about because I do have an interest in pop art, but I would not consider this pop art. I will, however, leave a PDF of the original two-page spread in the description. Let's go back to why I started using this motif more often. I guess it comes from the time of me creating that two-page spread. I didn't realize how much emotion I could get into just by repeating the same motif. And by essentially the second page, I started having feelings of doubt about existence as we know it, which is kind of ridiculous when you think about what I'm drawing. They essentially look like sweaty chickens. You can't tell me anything different. Genuinely. Please look at it further. They are just sweaty chickens. Oh boy, watch them sweat. Look at them go. Wow, look at that sweat. When you see these chickens, you can tell that they don't really have a lower body. Nothing about their anatomy really makes sense, and that's what I intended it to be. I wanted to represent, in a way, the issue of being forgotten. I know that everyone eventually will be, and that's just the fact of life. But there will definitely still be parts of your essence that everyone remembers you for, and that may carry on for more generations to come. So if you haven't figured it out already, I'm an art student. I've studied art history since a very young age, and through the practice of art history, we get to learn a lot of artists from the past, but we also forget a lot more of them. I don't think anything makes it more clear than taking a Western art history 101 class and then learning nothing about women artists until feminist artists from the 1970s. Art history is no different from history itself, and to talk about this point, I will now show you that I was going to draw fishes, and then I regretted them almost immediately after, so they will disappear, don't worry. But art history is similar to history in that matter of it is written by those who were privileged enough to create the narrative. We tend to not learn much about artists that are not of the norm or were not favorable. By this, I don't mean artists such as Paul Gauguin, where he was kind of a more quirky artist rather than a unfavorable artist. Essentially, he wanted to portray himself in that way since the beginning, so there was not really any goal as a person that he wanted to establish. What essentially I'm getting at is that essentially these chickens are sort of a manifesto about how I think the world sort of works. We all exist together, and there are those of us that have passed who still have their presence amongst us, but there are definitely those of us that have more notoriety, that are seen more than others. And that's essentially what I want the piece to sort of represent. That at the same time, you're not alone, but also you are a tiny speck of what builds up the world. And I see that as both a plus and a minus. Because at the same time, there are people around you that you can trust if you have any issues. But at the same time, there are so many of us, and sometimes it feels like our work is insignificant. However, I feel that regardless of how that feels, one should still put out their work so that maybe one day we can become the chickens on the surface. Thank you for listening to my rant. I hope this was satisfying for you. As you can now see, I've added rainbow chickens because I didn't realize how channel art worked. So, yeah, you're welcome. If you would like to see my last video, there's a thing for it. Go press it. Yeehaw. Bye-bye.